I'm ready.
Okay, one sec. Go ahead.
I'm going to call to order the Wednesday, February 14th, 2024 meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board, Safety Harbor. The items on today's agenda will be heard by the City Commission on Monday, March the 4th, 2024. Marcy, has all advertising been done correctly? Yes, okay, thank you. Can we have a roll call vote?
Attendance.
Well,
Oh, she stepped out. She did say she was going to step out for a second.
okay. Well,
She'll be right back.
Ally Schaaf has stepped out, but she is here. Heather Norton. Here. Susan Case.
Here.
Lorraine Duffy Suarez.
Here.
Colin Young.
Present.
Christina Novus. Here. Miguel Hicks.
Here.
Caroline Allison. Here. And Ally Schaaf. All right,
Okay, great.
thank you.
Everyone's here. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes of the January 10th, 2024 meeting? And does anyone have any corrections or deletions to make to the minutes? Seeing none, anybody want to make a motion to approve them?
A motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Turner, because I see no public, I'm going to skip over the portion about the public hearing because no one's here to talk. So I think we can just go right to Marcy and tell us the two cases we're going to hear today.
Thank you. Vote amendment to update the floodplain ordinance. That's ordinance number 2024-01. The draft ordinance is in your backup. Our floodplain coordinator, Troy Wilcox, could not be here this evening, but he's provided me some information to present to you. We update the floodplain ordinance every few years, and we do so Florida Division of Emergency Management, and also we work with the Pinellas County Floodplain Work Group. There are 4 areas that are changing in the ordinance this evening. The first is to change the floodplain administrator from the building official to the community development director or his or her designee. You may recall that the building official is now Pinellas County and floodplain management happens here at the city. So this change is necessary in order to recognize that we have a floodplain coordinator who does that work. Number 2, we're going to add a declaration of land restriction as a requirement of the application. We are going to update Florida Building Code references and update definitions. And I'll go through the specifics of those changes.
Does this give you another job, Marcy?
No.
Another responsibility?
So I do coordinate with Troy, our floodplain
okay.
coordinator, all the time. We coordinate on the community rating system. We coordinate on his floodplain reviews, but he does most of the day-to-day, and he has the credentials.
He's your designee?
He is.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we're very lucky to have him on the team. He does a wonderful job. So before I get into specifics of the definition changes and the changes in the ordinance, I wanted to share with you that the floodplain coordinator is responsible for substantial improvement and substantial damage determinations. What that means is if they're choosing, people are in a flood zone and they're choosing to improve their property, or they're affected by a storm, there would be a substantial improvement or substantial damage determination when they submit a permit. There's an estimation of the market value that's compared to the cost to perform the improvement, and then if it is improvement or substantial damage, then they are required to bring the structure up to Florida Building Code requirements. So several of the definitions I'm going to mention have to do with that process. First, I wanted to share one change regarding adding a declaration of land restriction or non-conversion acknowledgement where the proposed development will result in an enclosure of an area that's greater than 6 feet in height under an elevated building or construction of an accessory structure that is greater than 100 square feet. It will require the applicant to sign and provide a declaration of land restriction. And what this says is that enclosed areas below base flood elevation may be used for parking, storage, or access. Next, we have a proposed change to the definition of market value, and it changes it to be the just value of the structure developed by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser's Office for ad valorem taxation purposes. Worked with the state and Pinellas County on that change. It's consistent with Pinellas County. Next, we wish to change the substantial improvement definition to state any combination of repairs or the like taking place during a rolling one-year period instead of during the life cycle of the structure. The cumulative cost of
that's
which
good.
equals 49%, we're dropping it down 1%. And it's a rolling accumulation, period of accumulation for a structure that begins with the permit for the first improvement is final. So I want to change this. When we started talking about tracking improvements during the life of the structure over time, we realized that that would be very near impossible. We don't have permits for that long. We retain permit records for about 10 years, residential, per requirements of the state. So if a house has been here, 50 years, we don't have tracking from 50 years ago. So we became aware that we were not able to meet the code as it was written. So we started looking to how other jurisdictions are dealing with this, and Pinellas County and other jurisdictions have the one-year rolling period, and so that we were recommending that change. For review of amendments are on these slides, and staff recommends that the proposed ordinance meets these criterion or the standards, and this evening we're requesting that you recommend the commission approve with modifications, or deny the draft ordinance. And I've not heard from the public about this ordinance.
Thank you, Marcy. And I'll just do a quick jump in here to say, I think that's a really good thing with the rolling 1 year, not only for record keeping, but also because once properties start to deteriorate over time, the old way, it essentially said, we're not going to let you fix it up anymore. And now we're going to say, yes, you can make a substantial, in every year, you could do something. And that will keep our housing stock, I think, in much better condition. So thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you.
And Marcy, what was the reasoning for dropping to the 49%?
It is, and it was recommended by the state, and also it makes it slightly more restrictive or onerous, which gets us more CRS points. So it's an activity that increases our CRS.
CRS?
It's called the Community Rating System, and we have a rating, and that system and the rating allows for residents in the flood zones to receive a reduced flood insurance rate. And so we make submittals on that every year, and a very big submittal every 5 years.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments on this agenda item? If not, anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-01.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll just do a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? No, no one's opposed. Okay, thank you, Marcy. Next one up, looks like Zane didn't come for no reason. Thought it was just observing.
Good evening, Zane Hussein, Assistant Development Director. We are here for ordinance 2024-06. This is for a city-initiated comprehensive plan amendment, amending the infrastructure element to update sanitary sewer policies. Now, you might ask why we're here. Why are we doing this? Why are we initiating this from citywide? The Florida legislature recently enacted Chapter 2023-169 Laws of Florida, which amended Section 163.3177 Florida statutes to require local governments to revise sanitary sewer policies and regulations. So you may ask, okay, we have the why, now let's have what we are proposing and what is changing in this ordinance. Three main things are, number one, the city of Clearwater shall fully implement improvements to the Northeast Advanced Wastewater Treatment Plant to comply with Chapter 2021-168 Laws of Florida to eliminate non-beneficial surface water discharge and continue to upgrade and expand the plant as necessary to meet further needs. The second change of the ordinance is for capital improvement program recommendations, funded and unfunded projects shall include estimated costs, locations, and funding revenue source. Work plans and capital improvement projects shall be utilized to complete the 20-year-long service needs analysis and reported as pursuant to section 403.9301 Florida statutes. And the third change to the ordinance is the master drainage plan shall implement best management practices to achieve necessary pollutant load reductions pursuant to section 403.0677 Florida statutes. Now, I want to go over the goals. This was actually very, very important to me of, the reasoning for the why and for the city implemented plan. The city shall ensure that needed sanitary sewer, solid waste, and potable water services be provided by a safe and efficient system which maintains adequate facilities and provides for orderly growth and expansion. Also, an efficient master drainage system which protects human life, minimizes property damage, and improves stormwater quality and on-site retention shall be provided. Now, the Planning and Zoning Board, in its capacity as the local planning agency, conducts public hearings for the purpose of reviewing, commenting, and recommending to the City Commission matters or amendments related to the comprehensive plan in accordance with provisions of Chapter 163 Florida statutes. Now, I have provided the standards review of amendments below or on the board here. The standards for section 226.0C03. There are 8, as you see. Now, you have a motion here. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Board move to recommend the City Commission approve with modifications, or deny of ordinance 2024-06. Now, there is a code amendment to come in the near future, just also keeping that in mind with your motion.
Oh, to amend section 226.
There'll be a comp amendment in the near future. We'll be working on that soon.
Okay, all right.
Any
Thank you.
Any questions?
Does anybody have any question saying on that?
Straightforward.
It's the infrastructure
Very
element.
straightforward.
The infrastructure, nobody dozed off during the infrastructure discussion, and I always appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-06. Yes, that the commission would approve.
Motion, second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Hearing nothing, the motion passes.
Oh, was it Susan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You seconded,
yeah.
or seconder?
Yeah.
Suitcase.
Usually our first.
Okay, so that is and she's our official seconder. So that concludes the public hearing portion of the meeting, but Marcy, you have something on here about potential code amendment, the update?
I do,
Thanks,
thank you very
Amy.
much. I wanted to let the board know that the potential code amendment discussion of the Planning and Zoning Board ideas has been moved to the February 19th City Commission agenda. It was scheduled for February the 5th, but the evening agenda went kind of late, and so they moved it to the 19th, if you were following that or interested in participating or following it. I wanted to also talk a little bit about one other idea for discussion. There was a variance case last month that would allow the Planning and Zoning Board had a potential code amendment discussion about allowing pools in secondary front yards on a corner lot, and at the time, the Planning and Zoning Board had very serious concerns and indicated they did not support it, and we did not move forward with amending the code at that time. So in light of the variance case, I thought I might bring that. And we've had a lot of change over time in the makeup of the board, but I wanted to see, is that something you would like me to present to the city commission as a code amendment?
I remember that, when we saw that, and I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, I mean, I think you brought pictures and all sorts of things. And, I mean, I was here then, so I'm kind of thinking back to my feeling at that time, and, I think I kind of like looking at them one at a time, because this one was on a small dead-end street, but sometimes it wouldn't be.
Tend to agree that rather than a blanket approval, assess the individual situation is a better approach. And maybe the code could be, I don't know if you need to change anything to reflect that, but
Maybe there's a way they can write it to make it like, more inclusive, like you said, they have to have so much, like the setbacks, more decisive on setbacks, but approve it that way.
I'm going to say I used that as an example in my class last week. And it generated an entire conversation with my students about side yards, two front yards, two front yards. And how that is onerous in many cases, in almost every case, it's onerous. That said, maybe I say administrative, but I think that puts too much pressure on staff to make it administrative, but having two front yards, well, when we were discussing regulatory taking, it takes a lot of your property when you have two front yards. And by virtue of that requirement, you lose a lot. That said, I think a pool is bigger. I'm not sure what the answer is. So I think keep it the way it is, and we'll see how many more you get of those. And
The special condition on that last one was that the yards where you would typically put the pool were occupied by
Yeah.
septic systems. So that's not going to be the
Yeah.
case there.
there's that many corner
Yeah.
lots that are going to want to put a pool in.
Right.
One of those.
Input, I appreciate that.
And thank you for that item, because it was a good discussion in the class. Okay, is that all there is, Marcy?
I do have a couple updates.
Oh, tell us.
Isabella Sobel resigned from Bryant Miller Olive to take a position with the city of St. Petersburg. She was our city attorney, and then she was the board attorney for many years. I just wanted to say publicly that we're going to miss working with her. She also staffed the code enforcement board. And so if she's watching at some point, I just want to say we really enjoyed working with her. She provided wonderful expertise. And I want to thank Noah Geiger for being here tonight and helping us as the city attorney. So,
And will the city appoint a new city attorney?
yes, on Monday night.
Okay. Okay. Something else? Anything
We'll
else?
miss
And
Isabella.
Yeah.
So lastly, I have an update regarding the Elm Street property. You may recall that's come up several times. So the city owns the land. There's a rezoning and future land use map amendment coming before you. Actually,
We already saw it.
you already saw it. Yeah, not coming,
Seemed familiar.
it's going before the city commission next. But the city commission, their last meeting, there was a discussion of the use of the land. It's going to be parkland, but the discussion was what kind of park the city commission would wish to move forward with. And the Leisure Services Department has done a lot of research about an urban farm type situation and aquaponics and things like that in community garden. And the city commission stated at that meeting that they would like more time to think about the future of that park. And there's an election coming up, as you are aware, and there will be priority conversations later about, priorities for the city. So they decided not to make a decision regarding the use of the Elm Street Park. So I just wanted to share that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, well, anybody else have anything to say? Okay, well, I'm going to adjourn the meeting at, what time, Liz, do you think? 7:34, I've adjourned the meeting. Okay. See you next month, assuming we have a meeting, or never see you again.